Welcome back, my friend.
You know, I appreciate it. You know, obviously I'm very vocal about you two's success and y'all grind. You know, it's something to be inspired by. So I'm happy to see, you know, y'all in a new location. I can't give it away, but it's very nice, man. So congratulations to y'all. And who knows where this is going to be the next time I come on.
Well, thanks for always showing support for us, and because I know you're very vocal on Twitter, so we appreciate that, though.
Yeah, you know, I can't. If I get online, I just got to speak my opinion about something and then get off. I don't like going online these days because it's, you know, I would say your eyes see 90% negativity towards everything. So for me, as soon as I spot that, I just get off. Like you can't even be pro a fighter these days. Like if you just say something, you automatically bias. You automatically sucking somebody's cock. I don't know what is wrong with trolls and their fascination with sucking somebody's cock. Like it's kind of weird, man. It's kind of weird, but
yeah. Well, I just tell Helen all the time. I have to remind her all the time because you're right. You're looking at 100 comments. If there's 6 negative ones, those 6 negative ones you remember, not the 94 positive ones. But as long as they're talking about you, it's going to add to the algorithm and it's going to help things out.
I guess, but my mental health is more important. Like I don't want to just like go online. Like think about it. Y'all are media specialists, journalists. Y'all travel. Y'all get so much exclusive stuff that fans would never see, like hear about. Y'all unique in that way. So like for me being a creative person, spending so much time with fighters at their homes, traveling, then you make something and then you post something and somebody says something stupid. It's just like, bro, like you will, I don't want to be that type of guy to like delete comments or make them unable, but at the same time, it's just weird like what kind of society we have. Like I seen John Jones post today about, you know, him starting to get close, and then like all you see is just the negative comments. He looks slow. He's gonna get knocked out. It's like, yo, like let this man go on his journey, and then if the result is what you thought it was, say something. But while this guy's attempting to do something that is historic, let him be on his journey. Don't say anything negative about it. I just have no clue why people decide to just get online and speak negative about anything. It's a very toxic society we have online these days. And to me, the reason why I am so vocal and I take up for people and I speak my mind is because it's people out here killing themselves. It's people out here really depressed. Yeah. Successful people, very depressed because of this shit. So for me, I'm a person that you can't like fracture anything of my personality or my ego. So to me, I'll talk shit right back with you. Like it's kind of funny. Like I used to do this shit when like trolls would say something, I'll just screenshot they picture and they handle, and they get so mad. And I remember Connor doing it too. And he's just like, look at this guy that's talking shit to me. Like you like a fucking weirdo. So for me, it's I don't know. I see Helen go through it a lot. And so anytime I like see stuff like that, I just go in.
What about the guys that you're filming? Because you're really close with the Usmans, even Islam. Are they looking at social media? Are they feeling the negativity?
No. That's a good pivot. Realistically, fighters don't use social media. Kamaru, I have to tell him about something somebody said in an interview. Islam, I don't know what the hell Islam do. Like people think like these guys live in a whole nother country. I only see them when they come here and then they be here for a week or two and then they gone and I don't see them for an entire year or something like that. So for me, it's I don't think those guys look. I know Kamaru for sure don't go on social media. You know, obviously he's the champ. He got obligated posts and he got sponsors and stuff like that. But after he does them, he get off. He never looks at social media.
What's it been like working with him and kind of doing his YouTube channel, right? I saw you kind of revamp that.
Yeah, so that was something that me and him had to come up with an agreement because obviously I have my own brand and channel, but I feel like I said that in the beginning, even when Francis was thinking about doing his own channel with his manager, Markel, and I talked to them. I was like, it's so important for fighters to have their own channel. That doesn't do anything to my channel. Like, Izzy has his channel, right? Like, Masvidal has his channel. Like, Henry now has his channel. Justin has a channel. Everybody has a channel. And I think every single fight, I think it's kind of weird, like, fighters having channels. Like,
it's interesting.
It's interesting.
Because you don't really see this in the NBA and the NFL.
No,
there's a couple of good NBA players
but
that do it.
It's a monotonized, well, some platforms are.
Right.
So you look at a channel like Jorge, who was the first that really blew up after the Nate fight. He had a relationship with his guy, Genghis Khan. Shout out to him. And they've been doing stuff forever, for years. Miami Hustle and shit like that. So they just picked up where they left off, and then he went viral that year. And his channel, I remember when he beat Nate, like, his channel went from like almost 100,000 to hundreds of thousands overnight. Izzy the same, because Izzy has a personality, he has a team, he does different types of content, and I think that's the thing that I'm telling Kamaru is, like, if you want me to help you build this channel, like, I can do certain things, but I can't do everything. Like, I'm not doing no reaction videos or no shit like that. That's not creative enough for me. You got to get somebody else to do that. And that's the thing that these fighters need to understand, is that if you want to grow a channel, you have to create a lot of content. So, for example, I got an example. Like, I hit Kamaru up the other day because his channel hit 10,000 subscribers. And I sent it to him and Ali was like, that's what's up. And then Kamaru was like, man, that ain't shit. And I'm like, bro, I don't think you understand. This is a milestone. I remember the day mine's hit 10,000. I was like, I did it when I was 5,000 subscribers. It's like I posted a picture like I hit 10,000 subscribers. During his fight week, it's going to grow tremendously, obviously, because I'm going to be with him and I'm going to be shooting exclusive content and putting it on his channel. So, you know, it's a work in progress. I think if you get the right sponsors behind you that can fund putting more content out there, your channel can grow. But it ain't easy, man.
It's not
easy.
And you've been grinding at this for a long time, and you can see how different the game is now than when you started. In a lot of ways, you're a powder keg for a lot of what you see now. You're a poster child for it. You know, Godfather, following these fighters around, and now all these fighters have their own video guy. They start their own channels and stuff like that.
I saw Luque Vicente yesterday at the PI, and he was like, yo, Will, I want to introduce you to somebody. This is my cameraman. I'm going to have him. I was like, yo, that's smart. He was like, yeah, man. I just felt like it's time to invest in my content. Like, I will never forget this. Brendan Schaub, the day the UFC was sold to WME.
Is this 2016?
Or whatever date it was. Okay. I just remember Brendan Schaub saying this. He was like, fighters, this is it. Get your own YouTube channel, your own cameraman, start promoting yourself, because he felt like, yo, it's gone, it's out of here now. So if you want to build your brand, you're gonna have to do it yourself. Like, it's a conglomerate of a company now that's an engine. They're not just gonna invest in every single fighter; they're gonna invest in the stars, and that's the reason why I ultimately started this anyway. I was just like, yo, no cameraman, nobody telling these fighters' story. Let me create it. So I'm happy to see where it is, right? Like, the YouTube engine is kind of interesting these days, but, you know, I'm looking to get off of YouTube, and I got some things in the works that I can't talk about that's pretty huge for my career, and also the fight game in general. I think it's going to change the game, so I'm happy about that.
Like a different video platform?
Can't really talk about it, but yeah. No, I'm just getting off YouTube, man. It's going to be on one of these streaming platforms, Netflix, Amazon, something. So I can't really talk about it yet, but I'm excited that I put in all this work, and eventually it's going to pay off. It's a lot of work in progress, but ultimately that was the goal, is to take an idea you had, put it on a free platform for fans to just watch, don't have to charge, and now build it to a point where it can be seen by the masses, not just your hundreds of thousands of followers and things like that.
And it'll still be Anatomy of a Fighter,
yes.
That series.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Anatomy of a Fighter is never going nowhere.
It's just crazy though. But Google, it's like the largest search engine, right? And Google owns YouTube. YouTube's been the #1 video platform since 2006, and it still has the best algorithm for getting your content seen. You know, Instagram's going through its thing right now. You got TikTok, they're trying to compete with that. Twitter's going through its thing. Facebook's run its course, but it's still existing. But YouTube, it seems, continues to evolve and is still that #1 platform if you want to be heard and seen. And that's where we are, and it's 2022.
Well, I originally, when they created like YouTube Red and YouTube Originals, I felt like that was their idea of starting to create like their original content, like versus a Netflix and things like that. I don't know if it's been successful, because if it's broke, it don't fix it. Like society, the consumers, like I got Netflix, I got Amazon Prime, I don't need nothing else. So it's convincing consumers to try something new, right? It's like Peacock. Who the hell uses Peacock? Like when The Office left Netflix during the pandemic and then they went to Peacock, I was like, I'm buying all these shits on Amazon Prime and not going on Peacock. So it's like anything. It's like I have over 500,000, almost 600,000 subscribers, right? Now it's like, how do I convince these guys to support me now on another platform? If I said, hey, I want to start charging for this content because as a creator, I need to get paid. Like I'm creating all this shit out of my own pocket, my own free time. If hundreds of thousands are watching this, somebody should appreciate, well, if I'm the GOAT and I'm amazing, as I see in the comments, will y'all support me if I say, can y'all pay $5 a month to see exclusive content on fighters? In return, I can start having a budget to pay fighters to spend a week with them, right? Even the lower ranked fighters, yo, I got $5,000 for you, bro. I just want to, you know, your fight coming up. I just want to put you on a platform. Like, that's my dream. That's ultimately my dream, to where I can get to a point where I'm giving out a end of the year Anatomy of a Fighter award, Fighter of the Year award, and things like that. Like, a lot of people have told me, like, you should go on a podcast just because of the Joe Rogan shit. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do podcasts. I just want to tell stories. But I feel like there's ways for us, people that are giving the consumer, the fans, the casuals, the world of fighting, a way for us to profit from. And I'm still navigating that. I'm 5 years into Anatomy of a Fighter, and I'm successful, obviously. But at the same time, it's like you can be successful and then you can make money. Because you can be successful and broke.
Yep.
Like, it's like,
it's all perspective.
Yeah, it's all perspective. Like, if somebody came to me and said, yo, you know, people always give me this hypothetical, like, yo, what if the UFC came to you and offered you a position to work for them? And it's like, to me, that's a tough question. Or ESPN, right? Not the UFC, ESPN. So we want to give you your own show on ESPN MMA or whatever and partner with you or whatever. It's like, do I take that guaranteed check or do I just keep my individual freedom?
And I'm sure a lot of fighters hit you up, right, to film their series. So how do you kind of determine, like, who you're going to work with? Or is it just based off who has an upcoming fight?
Well, now it's different because every fighter got their own platform.
Right.
And they want to own their own content. And
You're pivoting.
When I came along, it was just like, yo, I don't got nobody to shoot my content. Hell yeah, let's do a documentary or something like that. Now everybody realized, like, even if I'm making $300 on my channel a month, doing some content, it's mine. So I'd have no problem shooting content for no fighter. You're just gonna have to pay me my value to put it on your content, you know, on your channel or wherever you're gonna put it. Like, that's the name of the game. Listen, ain't nobody better than me. Nobody. I don't care who you are. You ain't better than me in this storytelling department, and I'll stand on that to the day that I die, because I'm only getting better. But I respect every fighter out there trying to tell a story a certain way. I look at stuff and just be like, I wish I could help them. But I know some people can't pay me what I'm worth. But at the same time, that's just where I'm at. I've put in all that time and effort to get to this point. And now I'm just like, yo, I got to get some get back. I've put hundreds of thousands of dollars into this grind of Anatomy of a Fighter. Not my film career. Anatomy of a Fighter. Moving around, being a nomad, going from this city to that city, breaking leases, doing all this stuff, buying equipment, investing in cameras, upgrading, trying to get better, trying to get a better look. It's just like y'all with getting on the road, traveling, getting a new studio, things like that. Like you put a lot of money. I write a lot of shit off at the end of the year in taxes. I make enough to live comfortably, but I write a lot off, and sometimes you think like, damn, I should just take a guaranteed check, right? Because it's like, it's one of those things where you're like, yo, at the end of the day, as we get older and we chasing these dreams, we want to be able to buy homes, have a family, have some stability, have some money and savings and things like that. And chasing this dream to impress 100,000 people is cool, but
your ultimate dream is hashtag future Oscar winner, right?
Yeah.
So that's still like the main goal?
Yeah. I thought about that today. Like, I should put a year on it, because they say when you set a goal, you should put a date on it as well. I was thinking like 2028 or something like that, 5 years from now, or 6 years from now, because people think like I'm going to get an Oscar for like documentaries. It's like no, screenplays, shooting a movie. Like, that's the next step of my life. I don't feel like I'm ready right now to shoot a feature film, but I have things in place, mentors in place, people that put me in that space to get me ready to tell a story. Like, I could shoot a low budget shitty movie, but I don't want to do that. Like, I want to jump right out the box and kill them with that. So for me, it's like, that's the ultimate goal, is to shoot movies. I would say if everything could go perfect by the end of next year, I could have at least a 30-minute short narrative out. Like, you know what I'm saying? That'd be the start of, because I got scripts already written and things like that. I'm just trying to collect some aesthetic things that I don't have to like rent. I want to own my equipment, and then I'll be able to shoot.
From a storytelling perspective, how can our sport, how can mixed martial arts evolve to the mainstream? How can it cross over? How can it become the NFL, the NBA, heck, even Major League Baseball? Because I consider UFC probably number 4 behind those 3 sports. From a storyteller's perspective, what are we missing?
From a story, I don't think no one in no sport do content better than MMA. I think media-wise, videographers, vlogs, episodes, I've been watching like Ja Morant's episodes that he got a channel now, and I'm like, yo, a lot of these stars need that. Like, imagine if Kawhi Leonard or LeBron had like a just YouTube. Like, if LeBron had a YouTube channel, it'd be, his daughter has one, and it got a lot of, you know what I mean?
I was just looking at his Instagram. He's got 130 million followers on Instagram.
If he says, I just started YouTube and I'm going to be giving y'all daily content or weekly content, people will subscribe to that, basketball people. Like, imagine being able to watch that workout that went viral the other day on YouTube.
Right.
Because, you know, when you look at Ball is Life,
kids, yeah.
Ball is Life and all these guys, these high school vlogs, they got millions of subscribers, millions of views, right? These kids love basketball. In terms of the MMA, I'll ask y'all, give me your top 5 stars in the sport right now. Like, not by just, like, star value.
Israel.
Israel.
You definitely got to put him up there.
Is Conor still included?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to include Conor.
Yep, he won.
I guess you have to include John Jones.
Is he?
Nate Diaz?
Like, far as numbers wise?
Well, he hasn't competed. But I'm just but if John Jones is fighting, numbers wise, who's going to tune in? Who's going to buy that fight? That's what I'm going off of. Pay-per-view buys, value, recognition.
I wish we could pull up what his numbers did against Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes. What was the buys? I don't think they were 700,000. So, I obviously John Jones he's the GOAT. He had millions of pay-per-views and things like that. But what I'm saying, when I think of star power, is John Jones a worldwide superstar?
No.
I think that's only Conor.
I think that's only Conor in the sport.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the closest thing to it is Nate Diaz.
Or Izzy.
Would you say Izzy's bigger than Nate Diaz?
Worldwide?
Yeah.
Fuck. Damn, that's tough.
I know. But that's crazy because...
But he did it on... His star power is on his own because
yes.
Nate's star power came from Conor. Khabib's star power came from Conor fight. Like, you need that, and...
Right.
What is it? protagonists.
And Masvidal and had the moments with Ben Askren.
Kamaru and Kobe, their numbers their pay-per-views have done well. So it's like, you know, Kamaru's one of my best friends, right? First time I ever stepped in the MMA gym, I met him. I don't know how the Leon. I hope the Leon fight does well. I hope people, like in terms of a fight, people want to see a 2 top alphas fight. That's a fight that you would want to pay for. But it's like, are they going to tune into Leon versus Kamaru? Because what I'm seeing online is people thinking this is a foregone victory, and I'm getting pissed off. And I'm like, yeah, I'm biased towards Kamaru Usman, but bro, stop disrespecting Leon Edwards. He could easily win that fight. He's that good.
Well, listen, when Ali and the Schmo do interviews, we're talking about Kamaru, and I even posted it today because I asked Marab. I don't even know if Marab and Aldo's the co-main. I think it might be Paulo and Luke Rockhold, and God, I hope they both show up to that fight because that card needs it. I'd love to see Paulo and Luke Rockhold fight.
That's a blockbuster.
That's
somebody getting knocked out.
Yeah, as long as they show up, of course, of course.
Is somebody getting knocked out?
But to your point, though, they're talking about, and we'll get to this too, Usman. If he beats Leon, and we can discuss the fight. He's got to get through it.
He got to get through it.
Is his next fight competing for a 205-pound strap?
I don't know, man. That's up to Ali, really, because Ali. The thing about Ali is that he tries to put his fighters in the best position to succeed financially and for their legacy. Financially, number one, because these Henry, all these guys, they want money, right? So Kamaru, I mean, if he gets through Leon and he does it impressively, I think he can call his shot, right? I think he can do what he want to do because we got to see how Khamzat performs.
That's the key indicator for me.
Damn, I don't know. I don't want to disrespect Nate Diaz ever. I've never met him, but I'm a huge fan of him. And I just don't want to be like, oh, he going to get ran through because I don't know. One thing that I saw in Khamzat is his gas tank. And I'm like, was that a fluke? Was that Gilbert that just made him tired? But 5 rounds. If you beating somebody and they're not going away, is that going to discourage you? You know, I don't know. I think Gilbert is that special, though. I truly feel like Gilbert and Kamaru, obviously, they're at the top of the. But I think those are the only 2 fighters in the welterweight division that gives him any trouble in terms of beating them. Because you can argue and say that Gilbert won that fight and nobody could complain. Like, ain't nobody going to complain if Gilbert won that fight. But I don't know if every other fighter got the tools to be able to deal with Khamzat like that.
And if Khamzat,
Usman and Gilbert.
If Khamzat wins, he's going to get the title shot because Leon Edwards got a title shot for beating Nate Diaz.
Nah, he getting it.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, bro. Like that's a lot of pay-per-views sold.
So then, if Usman went up to fight 205, if he did beat Leon Edwards,
an interim.
I was going to say who would fight Khamzat in an interim 170-pound title?
Kobe.
You'd give him another title shot right off the bat?
Well, what does Colby do from here, like right now?
He's not talking, I think, because of the legal situation.
What up? He was gambling the other day.
But he wasn't talking.
He got, like, what, 7th place in poker?
Yeah, and that's what Masvidal was saying. He owed a lot of gambling people in Miami. I was like, Kobe really do gamble.
He's a big poker guy. I know that for sure.
I mean, and in Florida, that's a big tournament.
He was here in Vegas a couple weeks ago, too, for the World Series of Poker tournament, I heard as well.
That's hilarious. But I don't know. Shit. Does he just wait? I think Kobe, obviously, he got the legal stuff going on, and which I think is stupid. But at the same time, I mean, if Leon wins, who Leon's fights?
Well, that's the thing. Bilal Muhammad on an impressive situation.
Yeah, he got better wins than everybody else.
And then he's fighting Sean Brady, who hasn't lost.
I feel like if Bilal beats Sean Brady, Bilal getting a title shot.
What about if Sean Brady beats Bilal?
I know, ain't that weird? Because Sean Brady hasn't beaten anybody. I mean, he beat Chiesa.
That was his first, like, ranked guy, right?
Yeah, Chiesa was close at one point.
Yeah.
Remember that Ali called him out or something like that? Or was it Kamaru? No, it was Kamaru.
Called out Chiesa?
That said we would get him in the title shot. It was like Twitter or something like that.
Well, this was a while ago. That was around when he was fighting Neil Magny over in Abu Dhabi a couple of years. I do remember that a couple of years ago.
But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. All I know is if MMA usually the storylines don't ever pan out though, do they? Like, we know the mega fight is Khamzat and Kamaru.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what about Shavkat Rakhmonov?
I think he's gonna be the champion one day.
You think he's better than Khamzat?
I wouldn't say that, but he looks more impressive because he's fought better competition until Khamzat just fought Gilbert. So I think, because think about them early fights that Khamzat had, right? That's the one. I heard that's the one that a lot of people in that region is looking for, those two to fight. So I think he needs he's not close to fighting for the belt yet. Khamzat is, obviously. But, man, that dude.
What he did in Neil Magny was super impressive. What you don't want to happen is him fighting the same guys that Chimaev is, because then everyone's going to compare the people he's fighting to Chimaev. He didn't beat them as impressive.
He's not fighting Gilbert because they in the same gym.
That's right.
So they not fighting him. Maybe the winner of Sean Brady or the loser. Maybe the loser of Sean Brady. What? I don't. Vicente Luque
and Jeff Neal. But Vicente trains with him as well.
I know.
So it's interesting.
It's
how
like
that
a lot of variables that need to happen. But I just know at the top, the champ get to do what he want to do. So it's up to Kamaru when he wins on August 20th, which I believe he is, and I believe he's going to do it impressive.
Yeah. Let's pivot to Islam, because I think we started at the top of the show. Maybe we're recording or not. We're talking about you're going to Abu Dhabi a month ahead of time. Acclimate to the situation. I know that time zone's crazy. I know those guys are going to be there. How is Charles Oliveira as an opponent versus the other guys he's faced? Is anything changing, any different, or what is the mindset going into this fight camp?
I judge everything off of Javier Mendez's voice and his explanations of fighters. He speaks in certainty. Like, he doesn't, like, he'll be honest. I remember when Khabib fought Conor, he was like, yo, this is a dangerous fight. This is in the locker room of the fight. Like, this is a dangerous fight. Like we got to prepare for this. With Islam, honestly, man, I said this once about Khabib. Charlie is a legend. Like, he's top 3, 4 lightweights of all time already.
He has to be.
I can't take that away from him. And the fact that he went through all that adversity as a fighter, which I love as a storyteller. I would love to do something on Charles in Brazil. He not beating Islam, bro. It's not happening. I don't even think it's going to be close.
Didn't you film him recently?
Islam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I filmed him for his last fight against Bobby Green the whole week.
Yeah, and then because I feel like, did I see something that was posted of him like doing the jump roping?
Nah, that was prior to Abu Dhabi last time.
Oh, okay.
And then
but they just
famous, it's going viral again.
Yeah.
But no, I just don't think nobody can beat Islam. And then we all know that great grappling negates. Like, think about this. This is what I was trying to tell somebody today. The Michael Chandler fight.
Mm-hmm.
How did Chandler lose? He got stopped, right?
Who was the opponent? Chandler fight against who?
Oliveira.
Okay, yeah. He got caught.
He got caught.
He got caught.
But he was beating the shit out of Charles, grappling-wise, wrestling, on him in round 1, top pressure, and then he got caught because Charles could crack. But when Islam gets you down, the fight is over, bro. Like, it ain't no you surviving. The fight is over.
So you don't think there's a chance that he could grab an arm, grab a leg, get him in a different position that he's used to?
Listen, everything can happen.
Get him to tap. Because that's the thing. That's how I see Charles winning.
Yeah, but he not get in the back of those guys. Like, he just not. Like,
it's just a different strength.
It's a different type of strength, but it's just they prepare. What's that Bruce Lee quote about, like, I fear the man that train a one kick 1,000 times or something like that, and that's all they know is that the ground. It's like Aquaman. That's they land right there.
But Charles
said the same thing. You know, when Charles started saying stuff like, "We can start the fight on my back," I'm like, okay, I'm seeing a little chinks right there. Because why are you trying to play game and shit? Like, you don't need to play game and shit. Like, I ain't scared to go to the ground. We can. I'm like, maybe that's translation. Maybe we don't know what he's properly saying. But you don't want to go to the ground with Islam.
But what about the fact that Islam's been caught before? He's been knocked out, and Khabib hasn't.
Okay.
Does that thought ever go through his mind? That
not
he's
even close.
Okay.
One of the worst stoppages I ever seen in my life. Just like we just saw with Derek Lewis, right? That early stoppage. Go look at the Islam one. Go look how quickly they stopped the fight. Like, didn't give him any time. Like, it was crazy. Like, going, because I'm like, damn. First of all, he didn't get knocked out. People need to stop saying that. Like, knocked out is Masvidal and Usman.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
That is KO knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Getting stopped is like somebody took a lot of strikes. Conor got stopped by Dustin Poirier on a cage. He wasn't knocked out. He got stopped.
Right.
Technical strikes, right?
Agreed.
So Islam got caught and then fell, and then the ref called the fight. Like, it was the craziest shit ever. It wasn't like he was like, even after they stopped it, he was like still on the ground and things like that. So a lot of people have been saying the way Charles is going to win his fight is by knocking Islam out. What year was that Islam lost?
It was early in his career.
So it's like when people be like, oh, Islam got caught before. We can go to how many clips of Charles Oliveira getting destroyed by anybody? So we can't go off of that. We go off what they look like now, and Charles look unbeatable, and Islam look unbeatable. And that's what makes this fight exciting. I don't want to take nothing away from Charles. He could win this fight. I just don't believe he isn't. And yes, people are going to be like, yeah, you're biased, of course. Yeah, I am biased. I've been around these guys for 5 years, seen them training for 5 years. I don't think nobody can beat them. I've seen them. So with my own eyes, I haven't just watched the fight. I'm in there watching these guys train. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. And I've been in a lot of gyms. These guys are like lichens from Underworld. It's a whole different type of energy with these guys. So I don't want to discredit Charles at all. I'm not going to shit on him. I'm not going to say anything negative about him. He is a legend. Top 3, top 4 lightweights of all time. I'll put him in my top 3. And
who's your other two?
Khabib and BJ Penn.
There it is.
There you go. And then, so now you got to say Charles or Frankie Edgar, things like that, right?
I'd put Charles at 3. I think I like that 3. I would put it in that order.
Khabib, BJ Penn, Charles. If Charles win, he go up a notch. People need to stop with the fantasies. Khabib is not coming back no matter what.
Right.
Like, give it up. Like, you know what I mean? The man,
and if he did, it wouldn't be 155.
No. Like, give it up. Just give it up. Like, I understand. And that's the thing. It's like, I got mad at the media during Hall of Fame when Khabib was getting inducted. Like, every headline is, Khabib says this about Charles. And I'm like, quit running with that narrative. Let this man be who he is, great Charles, and let Khabib be retired.
On the quick note of the Hall of Fame, we always talk about GOAT. I think even when I asked Dana White this question at the Dallas post-fight press conference, and we're talking about greatest of all time conversation, he talked about Usman, he talked about John Jones, but he didn't say Khabib's name.
No.
How does Khabib feel about not being talked about?
Like, Khabib hate that. Like, people say he's the greatest of all time. It's sort of like this.
But why don't they consider him that? Is it because it was one division, strength of schedule?
People wanted to see him fight more. That's all it is. It's like sour grapes. You see this dominant run by Charles, and now they like, see, you left. You could have fought more, or you were scared to lose. It's like, y'all really are saying Khabib was scared to lose. But Khabib doesn't care about who calls him the GOAT. It's sort of like the LeBron and Jordan thing. Like,
well, I take offense to that.
But listen, let me. I always tell people this. Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Okay.
By far.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah. Or 2 Illinois guys as well.
But LeBron James is the best basketball player of all time. It's a difference. You can be the GOAT, the greatest, but the best basketball player of all time is LeBron James. The way he impacted the game. That's what I always say.
The BOAT versus the GOAT?
There you go.
It's like a Tony Ferguson argument.
There you go. Or some people say the best all-around basketball player of all time.
Yeah, I would say he's the most well-rounded basketball player of all time. He's got all the tools. Like, we're talking about rebounds, assists, but he was never the defensive player that Jordan was.
He was early on.
How many defensive MVPs does he have? It's 6'8".
He should have one.
But he doesn't.
Marc Gasol stole it. And I don't know how the hell Marc Gasol got it. He took LeBron's golden year where he won MVP, Finals MVP, championship, and he won.
I'd argue that Barkley and Malone stole an MVP from Jordan to twice in his career, too, in the 90s.
Yeah, and so has a lot of
guys taken from Kobe, like Steve Nash stole Kobe.
LeBron has 4. He should have 7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can play that game. That's the whole point, though. Like, say if people started arguing that Charles Oliveira was the greatest lightweight of all time, and then it was like Khabib is second. Who the fuck cares? Like, it's 1 and 2. What is that doing for your life?
Yeah.
Arguing who's 1A, 1B. I don't understand that. That's what gives me, like, the cringe feeling. Like, why are y'all arguing?
But they do that in every sport.
It's still.
They'll still compare Tom Brady to Joe Montana.
Who?
Well,
ain't nobody doing that no more.
Not in the past couple of years, but prior to him winning.
Tom Brady
in Tampa,
separated himself.
He did after winning.
I think that Kamaru said this the other day. He was like, MMA fans are the most, they assholes, but they the most loyal, like, rabid fans you can, like, they are like, I can't stand MMA fans, but I love them. Ain't that, it's weird, right? That's a weird thing. It's like, I love you, but I don't love you.
It's just such a new sport, and it's evolved so fast. Think about from like the Spike TV to the Fox to the ESPN to even before those networks struggling to even get a network position on TV, just getting the state athletic commissions to approve the sport. It took New York forever to get approved.
Yeah, when was the first New York card? 200?
Was it Conor McGregor and Eddie Alvarez?
Yeah. Damn, that wasn't that long ago.
No.
Yeah, that's Khabib and Michael Johnson. Islam era now.
Khabib's been a great coach. I love his passion.
Yeah, man. I just, like, think about it. Like, he could have walked off into the sunset, so many millions, but he's given so much back to the sport and his country and Dagestan and helping out these youngest fighters. Like, that man paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a fight camp for these guys to come over here. Like, that's amazing. Like, for him to, he could just be grazing in the grass in the mountains somewhere, sipping tea, praying 5 times a day and being with his family. But he still want to, he feels like there's an untold, story left for Islam and all these other guys and Umar, and he want to see that through.
I think he's going to do everything he can to see it through, for Umar to become the bantamweight champion, Islam to become the lightweight champion, and not to mention
in Bellator.
Yeah, all the guys in Bellator, Eagle FC. Yeah. He's a busy man.
And he's very, like, committed and dedicated to them.
Yeah, I can imagine all of the stuff that he has. Like, I don't even know if he runs his own phone like that. Like, I don't know all of that coming from everywhere. Like, I don't ever want to be that busy.
I want to be the fly on the wall when he inevitably meets Michael Jordan and see what their conversation's like. Because I know that's the #1 athlete he wants to speak to.
Do you even think Michael Jordan knows Khabib?
Maybe not.
No. Ain't that crazy? Like,
yeah.
It's like that. It's a different type of superstar.
It is.
Does Michael Jordan know Conor?
I think he knows who he is.
You think so?
I think he knows the name, at least.
Yeah, the name.
At least.
Because you've seen a proper tour commercial.
100%.
I don't know.
And he's a big
though.
whiskey
That's
guy.
tough.
He's a big whiskey guy. Cigar guy, whiskey guy.
I think all of my basketball friends, NBA guys, they know the sport. The sport is becoming popular. So.
And I know he knows boxing. He knows Floyd Mayweather. He knows Floyd Mayweather boxed an MMA fighter and Conor McGregor. He had to have been paying attention to that super fight.
Well, I mean, Izzy was just at Drake House. So that's big for the sport, man. I love seeing those moments. I seen his brother. Shout out to his brother's Instagram story, and I saw him at
David
the embassy.
Adesanya?
Yeah. I seen him at the embassy. I said, oh, they at Drake House. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he went from there to Dallas to support Kai.
He was Izzy looked kind of lit that night. I was like, he looked kind of like he had a good time the last couple of days.
Him and Volkanovski were having a good time for sure.
And Yair was.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That video.
Yeah, Yair is pretty adamant about
He scared me. When I saw that, I said, damn, I didn't know he had that in him. Like, a little crazy gene right there. You see the guy he kept hitting?
Oh, yeah,
that's
his
going
friend.
viral?
Yeah.
That's his friend? You sure
yeah,
that was his friend?
We saw him backstage together.
Oh, he was looking at him like, damn, bro, calm down.
He's holding out waiting for Volkanovski at 145. Do you think they're going to give it to him?
No, it might be an interim. Josh Emmett versus him.
He won't take it. That's what he said. I asked him that point blank backstage.
Whoever his manager is, they're going to force him to take it. I don't know.
He has to take it.
Well, it just depends on is Volkanovski going to wait all the way until October, right? I think Volk should weigh in, or Benil should weigh in.
For what?
Abu Dhabi.
Well, they're going to be fighting.
I know,
well,
because
Gamrot.
What if Charles don't make weight? Charles big.
Well, then he weighs in, and then he's the guy. I mean, then they'll...
That's what I'm saying. So you got Volk or Benil. But those the next in line.
Yeah.
So that's why...
Well, Volk's hand's not going to be ready in October.
Benil's fighting Gamrot.
I know.
Yeah.
So that's an easy Gamrot. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, they would.
A title fight.
I agree. They would do that if Charles
missed weight.
Or Islam. They haven't announced what the headline's going to be for Madison Square Garden or even December, but we were just speculating.
I think I know what it is.
Us too. What do you think?
Izzy and
Yes.
Pierre.
Yeah. I think they're doing that in New York.
And then Dustin and Michael, and then Dustin and Michael Chandler.
Yes.
And then I think it's probably going to be Masvidal and Gilbert Burns. Imagine that.
You think Masvidal's going to take the fight?
I mean, that's the only fight left. What you going to fight that? You don't want to fight that number 13th guy.
Right.
So I think that's a mega fight for Gilbert and Masvidal, and they're going to stand and bang.
Then what headlines December? I agree with you there. What headlines December? Here in
John Jones, Stipe.
Ooh.
And what do you think is taking so long? Because that was initially rumored to be this September. You know, that's what I heard. Like where we have Nate Diaz, Khamzat, Chimaev, that's where months ago you ask what's going to be the headline of that card in Vegas. People would say John Jones, Stipe. What do you think is taking so long to make that thing official?
I talked to Dana the other day at dinner. I'm lying. Let's make that go viral. Like, you talked to Dana? I don't know. Maybe John ain't ready. Or I don't know what's up with Stipe either.
We saw Stipe here a couple
weeks
weeks ago when the UFC was here.
Did he look good?
He looked good,
Yeah.
and I just saw some pictures. He's back in the gym at Strong Style MMA.
Is that be an interim? Like, that's an interim.
Yeah.
Or maybe vacant.
No, interim. It's an interim.
Well,
They're not going to strip Francis.
For Francis,
Is Francis going to fight again?
does he still want to box next?
I mean, you see,
He just met with Deontay Wilder.
Damn, look how I know Wilder had to be like, damn, y'all big, because his legs are like this.
Yeah.
So Francis' legs are like Deontay Wilder's whole body. So,
But he's got like 4 inches. Deontay's like 6'8", 6'9".
6'6", 6'7". Francis about 6'4", 6'5".
Francis ain't 6'5".
He ain't no 6'9".
He's 6'8".
Wilder ain't no 6'8".
Okay, so
what is wrong with you?
So Tyson Fury.
You just thought I was 6'8". What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
no, Tyson Fury. How tall is
everyone's
Tyson Fury?
6'9".
6'9".
Yeah, and he's
I
massive
believe
over him.
not massive.
Pull it up.
I think Wilder is 6'7" at the small side, 6'8" at the tall side.
Yep.
Yeah, you can look it up.
If you Google Wilder, he's 6'6". And that's about right against Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury hovers him.
Deontay Wilder always comes down, and like in the interviews I would do with him, he's always punching over.
Okay,
according to Wikipedia, he's listed at 6'7".
Okay, all right. You was right.
It's close, but 6'7".
Was he towering over Francis?
He's got 3 inches over Francis. That's how I feel.
Yeah, Francis is about 6'4", because I'm taller than Francis.
Yeah.
I'm taller than Francis.
You're what, 6'5", 6'6"?
6'5". So Francis is about, I'm coming from the basketball world, so you add an inch to your height.
Of course.
I always wanted to be 6'6", but I couldn't.
I've always wanted to be 6 foot.
Well,
but,
he adds an inch to his driver's license.
no, I don't. Did I put 6 foot on the driver's license?
Yeah.
Okay,
sometimes you got to add an inch.
5'11".
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes
you
you
get
got
that.
to. Yeah.
That inch. But, I don't know what Francis. I hope Francis get healthy quick, because that'd be exciting for him. But he got to lose a lot of weight. Francis is a big boy right now, and he's older, and he got a lot of muscle, and that ain't a lot of fat. That's just muscle. That Cameroon genetics. So him shredding back up to how he is, I'm interested to just see that process. I hope they document all that so I can see that.
Yeah. So John Jones, Stipe. Fuck.
I don't know who's going to win that.
That's a crazy
John
fight.
ain't
I'm
fought in 3
excited.
years, man. We got to stop. Listen, John Jones
And his last 2 fights
is the GOAT.
Yeah.
There's no debating it. There's no debating. You want to debate it like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was the GOAT before all the allegations. So at the same time, I don't know nothing about none of that. John Jones is the greatest fighter ever. But John Jones ain't fought in 3 years. That's like Floyd Mayweather coming back trying to fight Terrence Crawford. You picking Floyd just because Floyd is the GOAT? No, I'm picking Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. Like they're not losing to Floyd Mayweather at 43 years old, So the same thing with John. Like, you can't. This sport has evolved so quickly. Look at Khamzat and all these guys coming in. The sport has changed. Look at Cyril Gane and all these guys.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for Francis taking Gane down in that 5th round, Gane would have won that fight. That was that close fight. Was it a 48-47? It was one of those type of things. It wasn't a clear he won the last round.
And people want to talk about heavyweights on the come up too at the Salt Lake card, UFC 270. Is it 8?
278.
Yeah, 278.
278. Romanov, he's fighting Tabora. That's a real fight. And Romanov, that guy could be a future title contender. If he gets through Tabora, I want to see this fight. This is intriguing.
I saw Tabora yesterday at the PI. He looked good, man.
Yeah, that's a real fight. That's a real heavyweight. That's on the main card too. That's a real fight.
278 got some sleeper fights on it.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to do? Like, what do you think is going to sell? I mean, the fighters don't care. They getting their pay.
Did we see what Dallas did? Because that's what I want to compare it to.
Dallas got to be in it. I don't know if they're going to disclose it, but it definitely in the 300s.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody watching.
I think this goes around.
And I loved it.
Then I think this goes around 400.
Damn, if Kamal and Leon could squeeze out 500,000 buys, that is amazing.
Yeah.
For them. That's amazing. And I feel like Kamal has people like Kamaru now. Like, you remember there used to be the whole shit he used to go through and people tease him for the personalities or being cringy or just being docile, but I feel like his dominance has warmed people up.
I do a show with Henry, so anyone's cringe or anyone's complaints don't compare to Henry because people just hate on Henry because he's got
Henry ain't never been a seller though. Like,
Yeah.
he ain't been a part. Like, I mean, one of his biggest fights was a free card, him versus Dillashaw. That wasn't a pay-per-view. That was the first ESPN card. But that ended up selling 1 million subscribers, though.
Yeah.
Like, for the app. I hope he comes back. Like, Henry, if Henry wins, if Henry hypothetically won a belt, the 3rd belt, is he the clear GOAT?
Well, there's a lot he's got to do because he's not going to fight for 145 in his first fight.
No, say he
next.
be Volk. Is he the GOAT?
In my eyes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even close.
In my eyes,
if
yeah.
Henry Cejudo.
Because no one's ever done it. And who will do it?
Never. Nobody.
Nobody. Who will get a gold medal and who would get 3 belts in the UFC?
The only person I could possibly see is that even can compete for 3 belts is what? Izzy? If he can try lightweight again and then heavyweight. But I just don't see that happening.
Dude, Izzy might even be able to drop to 170
70.
before he'd even go to heavyweight.
Yeah, because he ain't
He
fighting
weighs
Francis.
in at like 183 and a half
I know.
at middleweight.
Yeah, so he could easily go to 170. That's like Kobe going to 55.
Which I don't know why he's ever ruled that out.
He'd be a dog at 155.
God, if
he knew how to hydrate right.
If they just did the 165 weight division in the UFC like they do for Eagle, guys, Kobe could be the champion, but there's a lot of guys that could be the champion.
This is a question I always have. If Kobe and Usman is so close in terms of just their legacies, right? That dominant, they fight so close. Why ain't Kobe ranked pound for pound? Dustin ain't the champion. He in a pound for pound ranking.
But he's been an interim champion.
Oh, man. Kobe has too.
Well, who does the rankings?
Yeah, Kobe has too.
He has.
What you mean?
See, the thing is, they always say, who does the rankings? We don't do the rankings.
I know they always say y'all guys.
I don't
Not
fucking do
us.
the rankings.
Y'all don't do 'em?
No fucking clue what these who's doing these rankings.
Who doing the rankings?
I have no idea.
That's the question we need to know. Who doing the rankings?
Right. No idea who's doing the rankings.
Who is doing the rankings?
Serious question out
Yeah,
there.
seriously, who doing the rankings?
I don't know. I don't know.
What do you also think before we get out of here? Like
Yeah.
the Bitcoin fan post. See, all that stuff is bad marketing because it always goes to the. Derek Lewis won it.
Right.
He got 10,000 Bitcoin when some of them other fighters could have used it. Derek Lewis making some good money.
You know, I just think another evolution would be if at the 2 fighters that are fighting each other, they just agree on a guaranteed purse regardless of win or lose. Like, didn't Colby and Usman do that at least in the first fight? They both made like $500,000 and they were cool with that. No, like they both knew what they're going to get win or lose, and they both agreed on the money.
In Abu Dhabi?
No, when UFC 245 here in Vegas. Colby and Usman.
Yeah.
The first fight, at least I know. Like, why can't the win money show money? Like, why can't that be the same? I think that would be different.
I don't know, man. I don't. I'm confused with the pay. You know, I saw an interview with Pettis talking about he got like FedEx $1 million checks. I'm like,
they do
who
that.
knows what these guys doing?
Yeah.
Getting.
The UFC does take care of the fighters.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to tell everybody what they do, what's disclosed and stuff like that, but that also helps them run their business.
Have you ever been to Dana's office?
Yeah.
Dana, when I'm getting my meat into the office, man, let's sit down and talk business.
It's been a while,
Will
but
Harris,
we've been
anatomy and fighter, and Dana White. Nelk boy life. I need that in my life. Not just
Yeah, but what's unique, and this is a good way kind of to end the podcast too, is like we've all are self-made. We built this thing ourselves. We are able to have loyal fans. Shout out to all the fans out there. We appreciate you more than you could ever know.
Yes.
I may not read all the comments like you guys do, or some of them like you guys do, but
you read a couple. I've seen you.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
but
you
like,
really don't, because I'll take up for you and you won't. You might respond 2 days later to it, like it or something. Like, you know.
I really don't like to go on Twitter because I know how toxic it is. But Instagram, I'm more likely, and YouTube, I'm more likely to.
Why don't you get Helen off there? Like, she be on there.
Not as much anymore, actually. Yeah. Well, since I've been training more now.
Okay.
Yeah.
To wrap up the point, though, it's just like we're self-made. We have a staple. And we're not going anywhere, and I think our value for the sport and sports in general will only continue to rise.
What I want to close out by saying is this. Fans, I love y'all, and I don't sometimes. And y'all got to understand, when y'all wake up and log in and y'all want to write stupid stuff to fighters that's giving their lives to entertain us, when I am being negative towards y'all or saying something to you, I'm protecting these guys that don't have time to really talk to y'all. Like,
fans are that way, by the way.
Okay, right there. Listen to me. Start appreciating what you're seeing, because I am a 6'5", 245-pound man that can bench press damn near 360 pounds, and I ain't never trying to be no fighter. I ain't got it in that ain't in my balls. That ain't me. So at the same time, start appreciating what we see from these people, even the people that are 0-2 and on the losing streak. Like, appreciate the sport, because it is draining to come online and be so invested in this sport. We've given our lives to this sport. Like, yeah, I want to do other shit, but I've given my life to entertaining fans and telling stories of fighters that y'all would never, ever see. These fighters give me an intimate side of them, access to them, that you would not see. They won't even give the UFC some of the access that I get. So start appreciating what y'all see and start appreciating these interviews. Stop just being negative towards everything. I understand the world is toxic and it's negative and it's hard, but you got to start appreciating these people and appreciating us, giving y'all this, valuable stuff. So that's all I got to say. What you got to say? Very
well said. I don't know if I could top that, but I agree with it. And even as a swimmer, I will say that MMA, in my opinion, is the best sport and my favorite sport to cover.
Yeah.
Think about how blessed we are. This sport did not exist like 30 years ago or so. We are
we're faces of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be egotistical and cocky, but we are faces of the sport. Like, we have some influence in the sport. We giving people access to these fighters. Trevor Whitman, when I was with him a week or so ago with Kamaru, I'm filming him. He watching Kamaru, and he looked at the camera. He said, "Man, we fucking lucky, man. We so fucking lucky to be able to just do this." He was talking about him as a coach. He was talking about us.
Yeah.
Like, you filming Kamaru? I'm sitting here training this guy, one of the greatest fighters of all time. We lucky. We are lucky. And fans should feel like they lucky. They shouldn't be spoiled and feel like they entitled to this shit. Like, you should start appreciating this stuff, because life is short, man. Like, we ain't here for a long time. We here for a good time, like my man Mike Chandler always
I was
said.
about to say, shout out Michael Chandler. And kudos to that guy. Nothing but straight killers he's fighting. He's coming to the UFC, entertaining everybody by taking the baddest fights. Never a dull moment with that guy.
Yeah,
and
that's the guy, man. I remember filming him when he had 200,000 followers with Bellator, and I was like, damn, he got more followers than, because he know how to market.
Right.
And I saw today that he got 1.4 million. I'm like, man, Michael Chandler.
He just hit 1 million, man. He's already at 1.4.
1.4. Michael Chandler, the man. And if he ever could get his hands on that gold, he like me and Kamal talked about that. Like, he'd be so rich as a champion.
He's one of those guys where I don't know if he's more entertaining on the mic or inside the octagon, because they're very much on the same level.
Yeah. It's like if Gaethje had that part of it down outside the cage.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Gaethje.
Because he a killer.
Yes.
You know, so.
Who do you think he fights next? So real quick.
Damn, I don't know. Who the hell does he fight?
He just got nose surgery.
Fiziev's called him out. Rafael Fiziev.
Yeah, the best nose in the sport. Yeah. I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know, but Gaethje, I don't know. Gaethje said he want to do one more crack at the title run.
Yeah.
Maybe, man. I mean, Dustin and Mike about to fight, but Dustin ain't got options. So maybe Gaethje fight Conor.
If Conor fights
at 170.
Again. If Conor fights again.
You seen him on his birthday? He was living it swole 200 plus.
Yeah. You know what? The fight I like for that, him and Paddy the Baddy. That's what I like.
That's like passing the torch.
Yeah.
But what weight? Because Conor
155 or 170 doesn't make a difference.
Paddy don't need to fight at 170.
But could Conor get back down to 155?
No. Why would Conor kill himself when he got hundreds of millions of dollars in his bank? Fight some super fights at 170 and get out of there.
Yeah.
Like Conor ain't got. Listen, man. Obviously, I'm Team Khabib.
Yeah.
That's my brother. That's my family. Loyal.
Yeah.
But Conor ain't got nothing to prove.
Yeah, the perfect fight would have been the trilogy with Diaz, but obviously that ship's likely going to sail. So
imagine if it was a draw and they both could just retire, walk away.
Yeah,
that'd have been the story right there.
That'd be crazy.
Some Netflix shit right there.
Huge.
Yeah,
and he's got his movie mind on.
Crazy.
Awesome. Will, we appreciate your time as always. We are out.